and
Oh,
it gives me hope, gives everyone else hope. So I'm going to give me a second to put this on my Facebook page.
too
That's
high.
how's everybody? Happy Friday. Let me see
That's too
some
high.
faces.
I know, turn those cameras on. It's so awkward to have a meeting when you
Yes,
can't see anybody. Bad enough
that's
you can't
right.
touch and feel. I'll put it right here.
You don't know if that's your next partner. You don't
Correct.
know if she can use you. She can't talk. She can't use you. Can't see you and don't know who you are. We've gotten comfortable being behind the screen,
Right.
and it's not. That's not good. That's not good. That's not how you build relationships. And in business, it's all about relationships. That's how you grow. So my thing is redirecting to the Facebook. Give me a second, but happy
Okay.
Friday, everyone. Uh,
Happy Friday.
hold on, let me see. Okay, yes. All right, happy Friday. We're good to go. I want to do a few housekeeping before we get into today's presentation fireside chat with Dr. Gamory. You know me, I'm all about collaboration. It's important that we begin to put our information in the chat. We need to come together collectively now more than ever. So you all always know that I'm always about collaboration. The next information class is May 9th. I still have seats available for the cohort that just started this week. So if you know someone or you're interested, you can join this class that started last week. The next cohort will start in May. Those of you who have not been, I don't know why my computer is being delayed. Those of you who are not part of my school.com community, please join that because that's the after you complete the program. This is where we are separating by industry. We have monthly tribe meetings. People are collaborating and working together. I'm all about us coming together. In this space, you cannot do this by yourself. And today, I am so excited. I've been waiting for this. We've been out of touch, I guess, for about a year to introduce the community or reintroduce the community to Dr. Tanesha Gamory. You received your doctor's degree last year. Was it last year? Huh?
All right. Sorry about that. Yeah, last May, and I'm glad that I have finished that journey. It was definitely intense. So,
All right. Well, again, thank you. I always like to start in the beginning because I think your story and where we all start gives other people hope and know that they're not alone in this journey. And it is a journey as long as you are an entrepreneur. I met you when I was still at SBA, correct? Had I just arrived there?
yes.
Had you
Yes.
gotten 8A certified at that point? Were you 8A?
Yeah, I was already 8A certified. And I think you were leading one of the trainings that I was attending. And I pulled you to the side afterwards. But yeah, we can get into that story. But yes, SBA.
Okay.
So,
So
so never know where you're gonna make those lifetime connections, right?
absolutely. I have adopted you for sure. Um, so tell us where you're from. How'd you end up here? Just to start with the beginning.
Okay. So, hello everybody. My name is Dr. Tanesha Gamory. I'm originally from Huntsville, Alabama. Ended up in Atlanta, Georgia, just by way of family, relocating, definitely looking for opportunity. But I've been here since I was a teenager, or right before I became a teenager. And so Atlanta is home for me. And I've been in business. Actually, this year is our 21st year, July. We've been at this. So, yeah, that's a little bit about me and my background. In my free time, I love to travel. I like gardening, organizing, all the things. So,
And you started this business, and you had a child,
really,
a teenager, you got married early, so
yes.
you've been on the ground, and so is that some of what kept you motivated and focused?
I don't even think that it's the things that happen in my life that kept me motivated. I just think innately I'm just very driven and
Mhm.
goal oriented. So I've always been that way. So when I see something, I want it, I stay focused and I just go after it. Um, some people would think of, those things that happen in life as obstacles, or motivators. I don't know. I just feel like it's just a part of the journey. But regardless of what my eye is always on the goal. Whatever I want, I just go for it. So my girlfriend always says, if doing what you say you was going to do was a person. So that's me.
Mm. And so when did you start you started this business what year and how old were you?
Yeah, in 2005, maybe I don't even know how old I was. I don't 19, 21, 19, I don't know. I don't even remember. But yeah, we started in 2005. We started out, so my background is in the real estate industry. So we started out in the real estate sector with um, home renovations, reconstruction, fix and flips. Then we got into like down payment assistance programs. And then, we just had to kind of evolve with the market because then they got rid of those programs and we just continued to kind of keep going. And lo and behold, the opportunity came when the, the foreclosure crisis hit and the government needed help with the real estate market to figure out what do we do with all these foreclosures. This has never happened. Help me now. Like they didn't even have an idea on what they were going to do, but we were able to come in and add value, and that's kind of how we started our niche.
So your very first contract was with the federal government, state, local. How did you get into GovCon space?
So my very first contract was with local government, and it was supported through state funding, but the money came from the feds. So I guess you could say we've always worked with the feds, but it was the money was allocated to the local government to help directly in those communities. And so it was a competitive contract. It was small, but it just gave me my opportunity not only to get the foot in the door, but I learned so much. So at that time, I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely working below my pay grade, but what I learned and what I was able to take away was priceless. You couldn't have paid me enough, or nobody could have paid me anything to learn. And in hindsight, obviously, it's 2020. So sometimes, you might not want to look for that money up front, but just know the reward comes on the back end.
So, what were some of the things that you learned up front that you could share?
Very important. So I learned how the government evaluates proposals. So I was placed on the proposal team to bring on other asset management companies, to also bring on or to review their contractor bids and all of these different things. So everything that I had been doing in real estate in the private sector, I was now able to transfer that over in the public sector. And so just hearing the behind the scenes talk about this proposal doesn't look good. This one looks better. Oh, I'm not going to read all of these pages. Just all the nuances that you would never know that happens behind the scenes. I was able to take that away and present our proposals where we would be better, very competitive, whether somebody went through 100 pages of it or not. So that was one thing. The relationships that we developed, how to manage budgets, how funds are allocated, the reporting, the record retention. I mean, you name it, we did it all. Almost volunteer level, but what we learned, I mean, we're still implementing those things today. So for our recent contract award, policy improvements, process improvements, all of those things, we're implementing those things that I learned, the groundwork that we put in there, I'm still doing that today. and it still works. So it's a proven method that works that you're able to rinse and repeat over and over and over again.
So for those of us who may not be um, in the real estate industry, when you're talking about asset management, can you break that down into layman's terms and
Yes.
what that really involves? And um, what are you doing as a contractor? Because I do have a lot of real estate agents in this space.
Yeah, for sure. So asset management is pretty much where you're taking care of the asset. It could, and for us, it's real property or real estate. But I mean, your car is an asset, is a fixed asset. Your house is a fixed asset. Even your jewelry, your clothes, all of these things are assets. So for us, the assets that we maintain are real property or real estate, and we're pretty much responsible for the financial compliance component of it, making sure that the mortgagees or the banks who issue FHA mortgages are being compliant with regards to the policy. So we're pretty much enforcing HUD's policy and making sure that those mortgagees are adhering to those expectations and those requirements. So it's been fun. It's been a lot. But the one thing that I will definitely say with asset management, it is a unique space. And it is a very small space in the federal area because it's not the government's main go-to, right? The government buys goods and services, but real estate, they're not in the real estate business. So the opportunities are a little bit far and fewer in between. But when you get a good one, you will get a really good one.
Which was again so interesting when I first arrived here in Atlanta. Uh,
Uh-huh.
that HUD asset management contract was coming out,
Uh-huh.
and I
Every
think
real estate agent in
every
America
real
wanted
estate
it.
agent in Georgia I met, and everybody was like, "We're going for it."
Yes,
Like you don't even have a clue what you're getting into. So
correct.
for me, that's why it was important that you understand what you're getting into. Everybody would just want to go and win contracts.
Mm-hmm.
And so even from that journey, that was one of had you worked on that HUD contract before you won that first one, which was the $200 million one, right?
Uh, yeah, it was close to like, yeah, over 200 million because we won two contracts at the same time when we did that one. So, but no, I had not worked on that project before. Funny story time. So, yes, every real estate agent in America wanted a part of the HUD contract. And so at that time, I was just really wanting to become one of the local listing brokers. So I was trying to get my foot in the door with the asset managers so that they could use our company to list the properties and resell the properties. And I met with some of my competitors at this time. Um, and, we were very, very productive, very efficient. Like we run a tight ship. And I feel as though they had their favorites. So they never gave us an opportunity to become a local listing broker. And I said, I'm not going to play down here small on the bottom with these people. I'm going to go to the top. So, some of those people who didn't give us the opportunity, we actually took the contract from them. So
Mhm.
sometimes, when you're trying to fit somewhere, you might not fit there. So just be mindful. Like if that door is not opening for you, that door is not meant to open for you. Go around and find what is in alignment with your purpose or your company's purpose and what you're supposed to be doing. So if it's not working, don't force it because that means it's not a fit for you. But
Mhm.
yeah, so we tried to work on it as a subcontractor. We never got the opportunity to do that. And honestly, had I become a subcontractor, because those listing brokers, they make a lot of money too. I probably would have never even be sitting where I am today. So
Mhm.
that's why my journey was different.
And so that that contract was awarded when? That was 2000.
Um, that contract, was it like 2018,
Okay.
2017 or something like that?
And from that, and that was the full and open. Again, we all stuck on small business. We all
Yes.
stuck on all these certifications.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important that you understand that you don't need that. This was full and open. I
It
mean,
was,
she's
yeah,
competing with the big boys, right?
right, right.
And so even that experience, you won, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
then when you're competing on a contract of that size, you should expect a protest. Somebody they mad because they didn't lose. So you had to do on the job training, um, doing to learn how to fight the protests, right? You had to become your own attorney. Can you share your journey with those who need to be aware of some of those obstacles that you were able to overcome and how you overcome came them?
Yes. So that first, well, the contract that she's speaking about, it was a very, very long and lengthy process. So typically, contract awards, you'll have a base period, base contract year plus four renewable options. We used up half of our contract just fighting to get the contract back,
Mhm.
or fighting to get the award allocated to us appropriately. And
Mhm.
so we went through a protest, which is pretty much anyone who bids on a contract can have the option to protest if they disagree with the government's decision. So a random Joe Blow can't protest, but any of the competitors who compete under that same solicitation can protest. And they did. And so initially, we were unsuccessful with the protest. And so we were not going to receive the award, but we had an appeal period. And so, the first go round, I hired our local counsel, our general counsel here in Atlanta, responded, and I realized like this was out of their league. So this is not designed for general counsel. This is designed for attorneys or law firms who specialize in government contracting, because speaking the language is the main thing. Is you have to speak the same language. And so we ended up hiring another attorney out of DC, who is now still our GovCon attorney, represents our firm. But they were successful in having the decision overturned. And so I thought we were on our way. And mind you, this is over a year back and forth legal process. So it was not something that was quick. It went all the way up to GAO. And so GAO did overturn the decision. However, the agency at that point came back and requested for a certificate of competency, a COC. And so we had to submit these thick proposals or thick submissions for one per contract area. And so we got that submitted, and they came back and said that we will receive notice that our firm was deemed, I would say, incompetent because it was a certificate of competency and they didn't give it to us. So they denied it.
Wow.
And so that goes to the SBA. So the agency will request, because you're a small business, to provide a certificate of competency. And basically, the SBA is backing you up, saying that, okay, yes, this firm is competent. We've reviewed all of their past performance, their ability to perform this work, and we certify that they are competent. And what they look at is three components. So they look at your competency, your capability, as well as your capacity. And so they deemed us ineligible. I will make a longer story short. We end up having a hearing, kind of like a debriefing if you're unsuccessful on a contract award. And it's never grounds for them to overturn a decision. It's only a forum for them to explain how you can do better or where you need to improve so that you can be successful the next time. And our attorney was on the line, and they were speaking on our behalf, and I could see that I was just fuming with adrenaline. Like, I was just so frustrated because I couldn't understand, like, the decision just didn't make sense to me. And so I jumped in at that point because they were getting ready to disconnect the call. And I said, may I have the floor for a moment before we end the call? And they were like, sure. So I spoke on behalf of the company, and I just explained from start to finish. And then I said, and if it's okay, I'd like to ask the reviewers a few questions. And so I said, hello, sir. You mentioned that our submission was missing X, Y, and Z. Would you look on page 6 or chapter this, page this, that, and the other? And he says, well, yeah, I do see that here. I said, because it's there. Well, I do see it here, but you just didn't take a deeper dive. You should have taken a deeper dive. You just didn't dive deep enough. And I said, okay. And I said, ma'am, are you looking at the same page? And she says, yes. I said, because unbeknownst to you, you guys have the exact same packet with different cover sheets. So what he's telling me is not there. And ma'am, you're verifying that it is there. So I'm a bit confused as to why our certificate of competency has been denied. And I just went on and on and on, really just ripped them a new butthole, to say the least, because at that point I had nothing else to lose. Like, you talking about hundreds of millions of dollars on the line. And at this point, speak now or forever hold your peace. My attorney couldn't close it for me. I had to speak up, and I did. Got off the phone. They said, okay, well, thank you. This is not we understand your frustration. We understand this and we understand that, but thank you so much for your time. I said, yeah, no problem. When I hung up that phone, I just started crying. I was like, pissed, I'm crying and crying. And so my assistant rings my extension, and she said, hey, Miss Gamory, I have the SBA, such and such from the SBA on the line wanting to speak with you. And I said, okay, I'll take the call. So now I have to get myself together, put all, and I'm like, hello, yes. And she's like, ma'am, I am so sorry that my staff did not properly review that. We are issuing your certificate of competency immediately, and we're providing it to the agency. And we were able to get the contract just because we didn't give up. So this game is about tenacity. It's about pushing through. If the door isn't open, sometimes you might have to go knock on another door. You might have to just push it down, because people in this industry are very busy. It's not easy. And some places is not as welcoming. But I say that to say, when I say I was working below my pay grade when I first started, the knowledge I gained there gave me the ability to be able to speak up, because I was so competent and versed on everything that was in that packet and how to convey the information. Had I not been there, I would not have been successful there. So take everything on the chin and keep going, but just know everything, you need to learn something from everything that you do. I know that was a bit long, but yes. So that was the process.
That was powerful. That was
Yeah.
powerful. And how much money? Because you're still not getting paid, right? Because it took you 2 years to fight them.
Yes.
You had to come out of pocket to pay.
Ooh, we were, oh my God. So attorney's fees, astronomical. And then so we were awarded the contract, and then we were expected to start like right away. Mind you, I had staff that were contingency hires, and now they're AWOL. So now I'm on this speed hire attempt. It was like almost like you were set up for failure. So, and I'm having to perform in two areas. We're required to have 2 new offices. So now we're setting up 2 new offices, one in the Midwest, one in the Northeast. We were able to pull it off, long story short. But then now we have this payroll, because you're not paid for at least, okay, give yourself 90 days. So now we're in the whole thousands of dollars. Now we're in payroll, thousands of dollars. So now we're hundreds of thousands of dollars in, and we haven't gotten paid at all. And with this contract, you don't get paid unless you sell a property, close on the property. So the asset managers are paid by volume, the assets that you're able to dispose of. HUD gets their return on investment, and then you get a percentage or a very small fraction of that sales price. So like if the listing brokers are being paid 3%, then you're being paid a very, very small fraction of that. So you make money based on volume. So now I have all these people who are doing back end work, but we haven't sold any properties yet. And then you have to wait on the property to close. So now you're talking, I don't know, 6 months before you're starting to see any money. It was a nightmare. So you have to make sure that you have your financing in order, that you have, whether you're going to be using lenders or banks, or you're going to be using the ones that secure the invoices initially. Thank God we didn't have to use any of that. I had invested in real estate. I'm in the real estate industry. I was able to dispose of some of my own assets that were perfect timing for the market. I was able to use that capital to fund the project. But all of that came just over time. So none of it happened overnight. So yeah, we're on our 21st year, but then it was what, about 8 years ago, 10 years ago, or something
Mhm.
like that. So it's all a process, and it's also, a learning opportunity. So
And so now you're managing a project of that magnitude and starting here. Um, how did you manage that leap of growth? Because I think a lot of times small
infrastructure.
businesses get in trouble with that because, like me, I went from a project manager in that first business to running a multi-million-dollar company. I had no clue what
Yes.
I was doing. I couldn't read the profit and loss statement. The only thing I was concerned about was payroll. So how did you prepare, or were you prepared to?
So yes, I
Mhm.
was well prepared, but you never know what you don't know. So I will first say that when I met you at the SBA was well before I got that contract. You had already pitched and said in every class, and for me, I was taking these classes over and over. Hey, Miss, I was Lanier. Miss Lanier, you're here again. Yes, I'm here again. I'm taking these classes 5, 6, 7 times. And then when they start offering on Zoom, I'm at my desk working and I'm listening to these same classes. So I implemented everything that I was learning. But I remember you giving your story about how you were taken for granted. You didn't have the infrastructure and all this stuff. So I spent years building infrastructure. Our
Mm.
finance department, our systems were tight. Our HR policies were tight. Our anything that you can think of. Everything was tight. I had job descriptions, I had HR policy, I had offer letters, I had all of our accounting systems, the general ledger, all of this. But your story just helped me improve that. I started building this from when I started the first local contract because I started modeling it after how the county was running their business.
Mm.
So all of the things that I learned, I just start implementing it as I go, and I improved it over time. So when it came time to get that contract, I already had all the infrastructure. That's how come I knew I should have been issued a COC because our thing was run like county government at the time. So it
Mm.
wasn't any reason that we shouldn't have gotten it. Um, but some of the things that I actually, experienced even helped me get better and help me tighten those things, where you start going through audits and you are for that one, we're required to have audited financial statements submitted. I think it was like every year or something like that. So it helps us just tighten our reporting, you name it. So
Okay. Okay. So you're a mother, you're a wife, um, daughter. How do you balance all of that? And so often, at least even with me in my experience, we're
mhm.
the first entrepreneur. So you have everybody pulling for you,
Yeah,
wanting a job, and that was everybody wants to get to the mountaintop.
yeah.
But there's things that come with the mountaintop. So how are you able to manage and juggle children, husband, life, and life has happened.
Hmm. Um, So I guess the first thing is I'm extremely organized and everybody gets on a schedule. So everybody gets a little bit of time, but everybody gets on a schedule because I mean, I'm not able to accomplish everything and I don't do it by myself, right? So at this time, I have a team. So delegating, scheduling, um, and then knowing when you need to take a moment, right? So most of the times on Friday night when I get home, Saturday I'm like crash, Sunday I'm crash, refueling for Monday, right? And right now we're still in the midst of this new project, so it is very intense. I mean, I'm talking 12, 14, 16-hour days,
Mm,
6 days a week. So I
mm,
don't have a lot of time.
mm,
But like we have date nights on certain nights. I have date nights, even if I'm so tired, I still go. I still make it happen.
mm,
For my kids, well, my kids are young adults now, so they have their own families and things like that, and they're busy as well. But I just make time, a little bit of time for everybody. So if I need to spend part of my Sunday or part of my Saturday, that's what I do to make it happen. But Monday through Friday, from 6 to about 9, 8, 9, right now that I'm right here where you see me at the moment. But this will lift and it will get easier and lighter. And when it does, we'll be able to play a little bit more. But right now it's all work.
And you just again, congratulations.
Thank
You're
you.
winning the is this the same contract or a different type of
Oh
contract?
no, let's talk about it. Let's talk
Okay,
about this
okay.
because this is major. This is so the first contract that we won, um, you are assigned certain home ownership centers or certain areas of the country that you manage. So we were managing two areas, and I think they have a total of five. So we were managing two of five. So there were three other companies that were doing the work at the same time I was doing the work, or that our company was doing the work. With this particular contract, we have 100% of the US. So we have all of the state. We got 52 states. We do it all. So we
Yay.
are the one and only doing this work. And there's only been two other contractors before myself that have done this work ever. So we're the third, and we're the only minority and the only female company to have ever done this work. So this is a big deal. We are definitely under a microscope, and I'm not worried about that because I do everything by the book. We cross our T's, we dot our I's, and we get it done. We've been able to add so much value already, and it's only been a few months. And I just can't wait to see where it goes over the next few years. We definitely still have a lot of work to do. We had a very successful meeting yesterday. I felt so proud. That was probably a proud moment. Even one of my employees, she said, just seeing our numbers there, we're small but mighty. She said, I am just so honored to work for you and work on your team and with you because some of them actually came from the previous contractor. And so their experience working with us, they're learning so much. And most of them have worked, some of them have worked on the contract 5 years, 10 years, even 15 years. And they're like, in the last few months, I've learned more than I've learned in 10 or 15 years. So this
Mhm.
is major for us, and we're all getting better.
And you were awarded that in December. Uh,
December.
and this was a full and open competitive contract as well? Or was
I think it was
it
full
small
and open.
business?
It was. I can't. Oh no, it was. They had initially it was full and open, and then they
Thank
set
you.
it
You're
aside for
welcome.
small business. So
Mm-mm.
yeah, this one
Uh,
was a small business recompete.
oh wow. I
Yeah,
love it. I love it.
yeah.
So when I met you and you came there, was my thought process helping you in shifting how you thought in attacking the space?
I would say your story. For me, I'm always like, if I see someone else who has done it, I can do it too.
Mm,
So it was just motivation. Like, okay, she did it. She's another person who looks like me, feels like me, real like me. So yeah, she did it. I can do it too. So that's important to have that representation.
mm,
I would say yes, and then just knowing like some of your shortfalls, and you were very transparent about that. That also helped me know, okay, look out for this, look out for that, And you remember I would email you and I'm like, hey, can I get a copy of the HR policy that your attorney wrote after you were sued 100 times? Let me see that. And I was able to use that and build on that and make it my own. So I would definitely say, yeah, you've been instrumental in my journey. You were mentoring me. You probably didn't even know. I ask so many questions because I love information and I want to make sure I understand to the point where I can teach it. And
mm,
if I don't, I'm going to continue to ask. But you were patient. You kept it real and very encouraging. Because she knows if I get quiet, either I'm super busy or I'm going down through there. So she'll pick up the phone. She's like, hey, I haven't heard from you. I know you quiet over there. What's going on? I'm dying. This is so much. I can't believe it. They're not. I mean, you're going to go through it. Trust me. But it's all worth it in the end. So for me, I'll give myself one day to have a meltdown. And I'm like, girl, get up because nobody's going to feel sorry for you. There's nobody for you to call. Get up and go back at it tomorrow. So I just get one day. And most people, they'll wallow in their misery forever, for
mm.
weeks at a time. I get up, even last year was a very trying year. I got my degree in May, but that whole journey was very intense. So I'm like, oh, I can finally breathe. And then My mother-in-law passed in August, but July it just became really challenging, and that was a major loss for me. And she was a part of my journey and my team forever, and so that was like I didn't know how I was going to lift my head back up, and I just said, God, I have to give this to you. This is bigger than me. I don't know how I'm going to keep going. I don't even know what I'm going to do. Like business is slow has slowed down significantly. Money is looking real crazy right now. Luckily, I had real estate assets. I had savings, that I was able to kind of just take a few months and regroup because mentally I was burnout. I was overwhelmed. I was grieving. It was all the things, and nobody ever checks on the strong one. So nobody really checked on me. But when I say I was going through it, I was really going through it. And only the people who live in my house really knew, and you're getting texts, hey, can I borrow? Hey, can you help me with this? Hey, can you email me? Hey, can you do? And I'm like, I can't even get out of bed today. Like, I can't even take a shower today. Like I really, really had really like lost it from August to, let's say October. And I was like, God, I'm going to get up. I'm going to keep going. I'm going back to the office. Even if I don't put on any makeup, even if I don't do my hair, I'm going to go there.
Oh, we got stuck. Oh, wow. Tanisha, you,
To
you,
work. God said, okay, now you're listening to me, you're leaning on me. Now it's time for the door to open because now I'm your source, I'm the power. And it just happened. It happened in the blink of an eye. I mean, I kid you not. It was like I was learning some other things. I was doing my contracting. I was trying to figure out, and mind you, I'm still teaching at this time because I'm a professor at the university as well. So I'm doing all of these things, and I'm just feeling it, honestly. And when I let go at that very moment, I mean, literally within a couple weeks, God just flung the door open. And I got my girlfriend emailed me and she's like, hey, I heard that you won a contract. Congratulations. I'm like, won a contract? What are you talking about? And she's like, no,
I
yeah,
like
I
your
heard you won
shoes,
a contract.
Bathsheba.
I said, how did you hear that? And she says, oh, somebody such and such told me. I said, well, send me the email. Ask them for the email. Send me the email. So they sent me the email. I said, oh shit. I'm like, oh my God. Um, and then I'm like, oh Lord, here it comes again. I'm gonna have to have another protest. It's gonna be all these other crazy things happening. I don't have the strength, God, to fight these people again for another 2, 3 years. I don't have the strength in me. I don't even know if I want to do it. My life is going well. It's working. I'm back on my feet. Business is starting to come back in. I don't know that I want to do that again. So they called me and when they could, and they're like, hey, we need to meet tomorrow. I'm like, yep, nothing has changed. Here it goes. But God had prepared me. Everything I had went through, God had prepared me because now I'm just standing so strong. I'm standing in my truth, my own power, and I'm able to handle it. I'm able to handle it. But had I not gone through everything that I had gone through, I wouldn't be able to do it. So embrace it for sure.
so when did you have time to write the proposal last year to win this?
This
Through
proposal
all of
wasn't written
that.
last year.
Oh,
This
oh,
proposal
okay.
was written. Sorry, it was written last year, but it wasn't written during the time all this was happening. I think it was written maybe like in either it was 2024 or it was like 2025, February 2025. But I do have a
Wow.
proposal team. So I have a full staff now. So although I was mentally out of it, I was still going through the motions. So I was still showing up. I was still working, in my mind at home. I'm like, okay, I gotta pull myself out of bed. Okay. If I'm going to take a shower today or whatever the case may be. But when I got to the office, it was still all business. But I didn't have the extra in me. I didn't have the extra to stay here 12, 14 hours. I had 8 in me, maybe 6. But so I was still getting it done. I never gave up, but it was time like God saying, okay, you need to take a minute to breathe and then I'm gonna give you a reset. And I think that was very necessary. But yeah, the proposal was written beforehand. Thank God, because I wouldn't have had time to write a proposal or help out with a proposal or answer any questions or do a budget or anything like that.
You had the energy, or the mindset to
Right,
focus that way.
right. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, you all see what I'm saying? This she's my unsung hero. I'm just so proud of her and to have watched her grow from when we met. Again, I said it's been more than 10 years, and you was
Yeah, for
a
sure.
little baby. You're still a little baby in my
I know. You know, everybody's like, "Oh, there go that little feisty, that little young black girl feisty. Let me see what she coming with now." But I will say that my reputation definitely supersedes me. Anybody know me that's going to work with us, they know that it's going to be pure excellence, and we're striving for greatness. And so, although you sometimes you have to do the hard job, people do appreciate it in the end because the product speaks for itself.
And you're still a millennial. You're the 40 and under. Have you hit the 40 yet?
I'm
I'm gonna call you that.
41. I'm 41.
Look,
Don't do that. Don't do that.
but you did all of this in such a short period of time, and you also followed the
Started
blueprint.
this, man.
And
I as soon as I
look, see, the devil is alive. We're not going to allow their internet to interrupt this conversation here. And it is stuck, Tanesha. You may have to log back in and come back out because you are stuck. I'm not sure what's going on with the Wi-Fi. In the meantime, are you all enjoying this? And do you all have some questions? Um,
I'm
and
enjoying it and I have a question.
okay.
This is
Tanisha,
Pam Chance. She
all
said
right.
this is a big one. She talked about that she was the only minority, the first
okay,
female, but I want to know what the project is.
so I
Hi. Yes,
came
as if we
back.
had a question.
Oh yeah, so you lost me for a second, but I can ramble on, and I'm going to
Mhm.
be uh concise. But yes.
She said well, someone had a question. Pamela, can you ask your question again, please?
Yes, Tanisha, thank you so much. I've been taking copious notes. You mentioned that this deal that you have right now is the big one. You have 100% of the US, only minority, only female, but I never did hear what the project was. Can you share
Yeah,
that
so
with us
our
or is it confidential?
organization, we no, it's not confidential. It's public record, girl. Everything government public record. So we are the mortgagee compliance manager for the Department of Housing and Urban Development, and again, we handle the whole U.S. And basically, what that means is we deal with the mortgagees, the banks, and we make sure that they are compliant when it comes to the foreclosures and getting those assets back in HUD's possession and through disposition to the end home buyer.
All right, thank you. I
You're welcome.
appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I'm a broker, so I get
Okay.
it.
Mhm. And again, a lot of times, I know when, as I said, when I first arrived here, every real estate agent was trying to go after this contract, and they were also trying to, at that point, enter into the 8A program. And
Hmm.
a lot of times, working with SBA's resource partners, they would discourage real estate agents into this space because they'll tell you the government is does not
It's not in the real estate business.
correct.
Yeah. And that
So,
is true.
so how was you able to get around that specific
So
state?
yeah, our 8A application, because I am an 8A graduate as well, was almost denied because I had selected the real estate NACE code.
Mhm.
And the lady really pulled my coattail and she's like, "Hey, well, what else do you do? Would it perhaps fall into a bigger classification?" And I'm
Mhm.
like, "No, I do real estate. I'm a real estate professional. And she's like, "Well, you might want to take a look at that because we're on the final review of your application and we have to make a decision." And so I was like, oh, shoot, she's trying to tell me something. So we ended up going 541611, which is management consulting and administration. Because ultimately, that's what you're doing when it comes to real property. You're managing it, you're consulting, and you're administering it based on program guidelines or rules when it comes to the government sector. And that does not limit you only to real estate. So we've developed or outfitted a full facilities team. We
Mhm.
have facilities management contracts, local and federal. We work with DOD, DOD education, HUD, local government. I mean, you name it. So our whole facilities team, And actually, I will say my first federal contract was not in real estate, it was in facilities. I forgot to say that. We got an opportunity, and it was through the 8A program.
Mhm.
It was the end of the fiscal year. They need to make a contract award fast. And my BOS at 8A called and said, "Hey, can you guys do X, Y, and Z?" And I said, yes, we actually can do X, Y, and Z. And I called up some people that I knew who were already in that space, got some guidance, and we built it out from there. But to me, the government is just really one big staffing agency. So you don't have to do what it is that they're asking you to do. You just have the resources and the connections or contacts to hire the people who do the work. Because it's not about what you do, it's about what your organization does at a whole. So our business model is everything real estate, and it's not just buying and selling real estate. It's that anything that deals with real property, whether it be IT infrastructure, whether it be facilities management, all of that, all of those things we do. We offer those services back to the government. So I had to get my mind out of Paula saying mindset when she's like, stop pigeonholing yourself. Stop pigeonholing yourself. Stop pitch. And I'm like, I'm not pigeonholing myself. I just spent all these years doing real estate. I don't want to do IT. I'm not an IT professional. And then finally, when I opened up my mind to that, I mean, we've done work globally for DoD on training expedition. I can't talk about a lot of it, but anyhow, because it's confidential. But don't pigeonhole yourself. That is true.
Y'all stop mocking me, talking about sounds just like her. Laugh out
Yeah.
loud.
But you know what? It stuck with me. It's so true. And that helped me expand or scale our business a little bit faster. And I am still a small business, even with all of these things that we've done. We're still a small business because from one contract to the next contract, you are unemployed. Your company is unemployed. So it's a constant grind, a constant cycle for you to continue to compete, prepare proposals, network, um, take trainings, educate yourself, and just continue to get better and evolve with the market because it has changed a lot too from when I first started.
And you're doing a DBA. So again, I think a lot of that's part of the first exercise that people are going through, and choosing a name that's not necessarily limiting their business.
Mm-hmm.
So you did a DBA as well. So
That's
not
correct.
necessarily pigeonholing yourself into the real estate industry.
Right. So the name originally pigeonholed me into people thinking that you only do real estate. And
Mhm.
now the name is like, well, what do you do? What don't you do? Right. So our company is called RE Global. And so we provide global services to government and commercial clients in the real property space to include infrastructure and development.
Okay. Tess, you have a question?
Yes, Tanesha, thank you so much for sharing your journey.
Oh, you're
Definitely
welcome.
very informative. My question was about the 8A program and how that was for you. I was going to ask, did you go through the mentor protege program to get the 8A, or was it completely separate? And then what were some things that you learned in 8A, or if I don't know if you're still in it, but some things that you learned in 8A that you did not know before that really helped you in your business today?
I would say no. So no, we didn't do mentor protege. We came to the 8A pro when you once you're certified, then you get to participate in 8A. The new structure, so when we were certified, you had to be an 8A to go through the mentor protege program. Now it's just, I think, small business relationships. So they've made that improvement. So if you do have a mentor, and I think you can have multiple mentors in different spaces too. So that's always a benefit. But so no, we never did the mentor protege. But as far as the 8A program, I mean, it created opportunity for us. Whether we ended up being successful with the bid or not, it still gave us the experience on how to compete, how your proposal should look. Because they don't want to hear you talk about a direct award. Oh, I'm 8A, because it's like a handout. So you have to be able to present yourself in a way where you are saying, oh, by the way, if you happen to need a quick award, we are 8A certified as well. So just having that experience with a smaller population of people who are doing what you do, and you all are kind of going through that journey together. So it kind of shielded us and sheltered us in a sense from the nuances of the full and open. Even though we stepped out there pretty early, we in the 8A space, we didn't have much success when it came to competing, because they do have liberty to make those direct awards. And, it's to me, it's a lot relationship driven and proximity driven. And so being in the right places at the right time definitely will help you. But as far as the 8A, it is a lot of reporting. It can be very advantageous. It was our first federal contract, so that was definitely a benefit. And it taught me how to complete federal invoicing. I didn't know how to invoice the federal government, how to do their reporting. I had never done federal government. I've done state reporting and local reporting. So, I mean, there's always a learning opportunity in everything that you do. And whether you like it or not, it taught me also how to deal with equitable adjustments. Like, there's changes. How do I go back to the government to ask for this equitable adjustment? Because now it's costing more than it would initially. It taught me how to deal with contracting officers, contracting officer representatives, how to communicate with them. Because sometimes they give you a lot of pushback. How do I handle this? So, I mean, I could go on and on, but the 8A was my start in the federal space, and I mean, I am where I am now, but that journey taught me a lot.
Because it truly is a business development program.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily a handout. I mean, they tried to stigmatize that program. That program has always been open to everyone. I had non-minorities that I was servicing. As long as you were able to prove that you've been discriminated against, you could be accepted into that program. So it's disheartening to see what they're doing to it. But in the end, I'm still encouraging people to participate in it, and we're going to ride it out until it dies.
Yeah. The one thing I will say about 8A, I know people hear about 8A and they think automatic money and they want to go instantly and get certified. Do not waste your 9 certification years learning how to do government contracting. I'm going to say that again. Do not waste the 9 years that you have. You're on a clock and it goes by so fast. 9 years sounds like a long time, but it was up. I was like, wait a minute, I'm not ready. What do you mean it's up? So understand government contracting before you even apply for that program. And it takes you probably about a year to get approved and accepted and certified into 8A. So really to learn government contracting, in my opinion, you need at least 5 years because it's so much that you don't know. And even if you learn it, you haven't applied it, you have no experience, you're going to do yourself a disadvantage. Like the first thing people come to me is like, I'm gonna apply for 8A. I'm gonna get 8A certified. I'm like, well, do you know what a requisition is? Do you know what a task order is? Do you know IDIQ? Have you had any experience with it? Have you subcontract? Do you have any past performance in the federal space? How many government conferences have you attended? What's your network? Is your infrastructure set up? And not commercial infrastructure, but government infrastructure. So most people don't have that together. I mean, I meet companies now who have contract awards and they don't have it together. And I'm looking like, you're setting yourself up for failure because winning the contract is the easiest part. Actually, administering and performing on the contract is the hard part. So yeah, you can get a contract award because if it's the lowest price technically acceptable, you come in and you offer $1. Guess what? You are the lowest bidder. You get a car, right? You get a car, like Oprah says. But when it comes time to do the work, you're like, oh man, I don't know what to do. And it is hard. It is not easy. It's a lot of moving pieces and they go fast and there's no mercy. There's zero mercy. Zero mercy.
Someone had a question, Camille. Her question, she said, what an inspiration, Dr. Gamory.
Thank you.
As a small business, we don't have significant capital to pay vendors up front. Would it be wise to move forward under these circumstances? A procurement counselor that she worked with shared that some companies are open to partnering with the government and understanding that the government payment terms typically range from net 30 to net 45 to 60.
So first thing is you can't be a broke contractor and then you're hiring broke contractors. Okay. That's not gonna work because y'all not gonna make no money together. Okay. So you don't need to hire nobody who don't already who's calling you down. When am I gonna get paid? When am I gonna get paid? That's not your community. Okay. That's not who we're looking for here. You're looking for reliable, experienced subcontractors who have the ability to perform, and you give them a net 60 if yours is a net 30. So you get paid. And then you make sure you pay them, because if the government pays late or something happens with the invoice, if one thing is not correct, they're going to reject it. Your process is going to start over. So you give them a net 60. And they say, you know what, Camille, I'm not even worried about the invoice right now. And they're like, oh, we have invoice. Those are the type of people that I deal with. So even when I was a small business, I was reaching out to people who were established, who had history. I'm looking at their capabilities. I'm interviewing them like they're applying for a job with me. So I need to know that you have the capacity, because if they don't perform, that reflects on your CPARs, on your performance record. So I hope that answers your question. But yeah, the government doesn't pay fast. You do need to have some capital of your own to get started. But when you get a contract, you could leverage that contract for funding. It will cost you, but at least it'll allow you to get your foot in the door and start working.
I love that analogy. That's pretty good. Two
Yeah,
broke people don't do good together.
we don't do that. No.
The other thing is what I'm proud of is what I've always said and what I didn't realize in my first business, because and purchasing a building, because I knew on the contracts that I had, I was paying rent.
Yeah.
So why not leverage those contracts to purchase a
Right.
building? So I was I was privileged enough to come to your grand opening in the building that you purchased.
Yes.
Um, so what was that process like for those trying to enter on that side?
You know what I learned, even back to that first contract, quote unquote, working below your pay grade. And I wasn't working below my pay grade because they weren't paying, they were paying. I was working below my pay grade because the amount of work that I took on um, caused it to be below my pay grade. So I want to be clear there. So with that being said, the difference is the people who make more or do more or ask for more, the only difference is they're just doing it. When I got up to the top, or I started to climb up, I noticed that they weren't smarter. They weren't more intelligent. They didn't have more resources. Actually, it was the people at the bottom who were making them look good. So and I say that to say sometimes things look scary because you haven't done it before, or you don't jump into it. So it seemed like a big feat, but when I got into it, it was like, oh, this is kind of like that unspoken thing you don't know because you don't know, and you're not in the rooms to know. So it wasn't difficult. It was just getting to the point where you knew you could do it, because I had already had the qualifications. Like I already had good credit. We already were in business. We were already bringing in revenue. So they're looking at your business tax returns and things like that. So it's just like buying a house, but buying a commercial property. I think the longest journey for me with the process was, and it wasn't my first building that I bought commercially. So I also own a school, and we purchased that building initially. And so I kind of had that experience going through, and that was a brand new business. Let me say that again. So I purchased my first commercial building for a business entity that was brand new with no experience, no tax returns. It was solely based on my management background, my personal tax returns, and the potential that the business had, the forecast for the business revenue. So you
Wow.
don't have to wait. You don't have to be been this big success. If you have the credit score, you have the resume, and the business has potential to earn, you can purchase commercial real estate.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And were you using SBA's programs
We
as
do
part
have an SBA loan. Yes, on both buildings, we have
of
SBA loans.
it?
Absolutely.
Because I
Absolutely.
realize that's really the cheapest way that you can purchase a building because of the 10% down payment, correct?
Yes, and you also get credit for your FF&E, your furniture, fixtures, and equipment that you purchased in preparation for the building. So they give you credit back for those items towards your down payment. So I got in with less than 10% because I got credit back for the money that I had already put into it. So I got
Wow.
into it for a little of nothing. And I'll tell you a story too. I stalked this building down. I passed by it. Our office was in this high-rise tower, not too far from here. And I passed it. I said, "Man, that would make a nice office." Didn't think nothing about it. And then I drove past it again. It still appeared to be available. And I called and said, "No, ma'am, it's under contract. It's been under contract for quite some time. It's scheduled to close soon." So I just put it on my weekly thing. I was emailing and calling. One week I emailed, the next week I call. "Hey, is it, ma'am? No, it's still under contract. No, ma'am, it's closing. Yes, it's gonna close." And I told my girlfriend, I said, "That is my building. I'm buying that building." I said, "I don't know how God is gonna move, but He's gonna move. I'm buying that building." It was under contract for a year. They end up emailing me back and saying, "Hey, we're actually going to market with this building. We actually have a lot of people interested. We're not really sure where we're going to price it, but we're just letting everybody know." I said, "Okay, well, I'm going to make an offer as soon as you price it. So please let us know." Called my mortgage broker, said, "Hey," the same one who did the first deal. I said, "Hey, I want to purchase this building." I gave him the information. So I lined everything up. And, they were like, "Well, we have multiple offers now. I don't know if we're going to pick your offer." Long story short, I bought the building. So now when people say, "Where are you?" I'm leaving the bank. So it used to be a bank. So I bought the bank, and it used to be a power company. So I said, "I own the bank and the power company. Don't play with us, like don't play with us." But it's just a matter of believing in yourself and knowing what you want and keeping your eye on that prize and just never giving up. Being tenacious by all means, all costs. And guess what? Sometimes you're going to lose people along the way. Most times people are not going to believe in your dream. They're not going to support you until you get up to the top. And then they're going to be like, "Oh, I know her," or "I did." And sometimes I go into meetings and it's like, "Oh, it's Gamory." And I'm like, "Hey, yeah, I do remember that you would never give me a listing." You know what I mean? My real estate business was struggling. I remember that. But when you believe in yourself, no, it doesn't matter if no one else believes in you. You're the only one. If you look back, like a lot of the most successful people, they appear to be very pompous and egotistical, but really they just believe in themselves to the point that they're delusional, appear to be delusional. And that's the type of belief you need in yourself and your business to be successful.
What a message to close out with. Um, Thank you. Thank you. It is 1:02, and I want to be conscious of your time. And thank you. Thank you. I knew
Thank you for having me.
everybody, give her a hand. She is a unsung hero that again, not necessarily recognized, people aren't necessarily well known, but she's doing her thing under the cover. And sometimes that's the way we need to move.
That's the way I love it.
Yes. We need to be undercover. We don't need
Yeah.
to be out there showing.
Yeah.
So, congratulations.
Thank
Again, I'm
you.
so proud of you watching and seeing how you're growing and how you're moving. And you forever in my heart. You are my legacy. So,
Oh, and
thank
I just
you.
love you, Paula. Thank you so much for all of the support over the years, for believing in me, for keeping me encouraged, for always checking on me. Like, I mean, just genuine people. And so the one thing I will say is that, they always say it's lonely at the top, and it needs to be lonely because you want the right people around you. You don't want the people around you or who are not there in support of where your next level and where you're going. And that's definitely been a lesson for me. And so just stay focused, keep going, and y'all got this.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And thank you. And we're going to keep it going. We want some more. We want some more to come back and share. We want
I'll be
more.
back. Don't worry. Don't
All
worry.
right. All
Okay.
right. Have a
All
good
right.
one.
Y'all
Bye
take
bye.
care.